All right, let's break down St. Anne's Reel, beautiful French Canadian tune that if you play in old time jams, it will almost always be played by every old time group. Doesn't get played much in bluegrass. It'll get played in some bluegrass jams, but not as rare. It's more in old time jams. Very pretty tune. It's in the key of D. So let me get oriented here, and I'm gonna try to break it down. So get your G scale in your mind. It really never goes below the delta string. That's as low as it goes, which is kind of typical of fiddle music. So it never uses this G string. That open delta string is the lowest it goes. So get that. In fact, it could go all the way up to this pinky. Because it's going to use that note, that 7th fret on the echo string. E, F sharp, whoops, E, F sharp, G, A, B, that's a B. Alright, so let's get into it. First phrase, let's do the, let me just play through the A part so you have the melody in your mind. So that's the melody, and it's going to repeat that. It's A, A, B, B. It's going to, so that's one A part. It's going to repeat that, and then when we get to the B part, it's very the same. That not all fiddle tunes, when we say A, B, B, not all fiddle tunes. In fact, maybe a large percentage of them do not. The first A part is not the same as the second A part. So we probably ought to call those A prime, B prime. But in this case, the A part, the two A parts are the same and the two B parts are the same. So breaking this down starts on a delta note, which is on the 5th fret of the alpha string, played with your ring finger. And I like to do it with that little strum, because in that 3rd note, which is actually the first note of the first measure, these other 2 notes are pickup notes, and here's the first note of the first measure. You end up with this F sharp, which is the 2nd fret on the echo string, and that forms a little D chord if you strum the delta string, the alpha string open, those 2 open, and then that 2nd fret echo. So, sounds kind of pretty. Let's do it again. Ends up on this 4th fret of the delta string, which is another F sharp. And you can strum through it. That open E is not really a part of the chord, but it's not discordant. It doesn't sound bad. Again. Get that. Again. Okay, next phrase starts on this is where it transitions from the delta chord to the golf chord. much. So it starts on the 5th fret of the delta string, a G note, and then here, very similar to the other one, you got your 2nd fret. It's a B note. It's a 2nd fret on the alpha string, and that forms a little G chord when played with the open. I told you earlier it didn't use that open G chord or G note, and it doesn't as a melody note, but here it's as a chord note. You can strum all 3 of those strings with that index finger down on the 2nd fret of the alpha string. So it's back to that 5th fret. Get that much. All right, let's put those 2 together. Once more. Okay. All right, next phrase. And next phrase is, we're back onto the D chord here. So it starts on this F sharp, 4th fret of the delta string. Just a scale up and a scale back down. Again. And then the next phrase is the same as the beginning phrase. So let's do all of that together, what we have so far. The only thing we haven't done is the very last phrase, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Here we go. How it sounds so far. The last phrase. Last phrase is, whoops. And there's one more phrase we're going to tag on the end of this. Starts on the fifth fret of the delta string, a G note, to open. To open to 2nd. Again. And it resolves. You hear it kind of resolves, which means, you know, it kind of comes to a comfortable conclusion, I suppose you could say. It resolves on the D note, 5th fret of the alpha string. Again. 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 Once more. All right, and then we're going to add a little tag phrase. Tag phrase is starts on that delta note, the 5th fret of the alpha string. To open to 4 on the delta string, which is an F sharp, then to open delta. Again, again, again. So those last two phrases together. Part. It does that twice, so let's go through this together. Do it again. Part to St. Anne's Reel. So let's do it once more together. Actually, let me do this. Let's go over the rhythm. Let's go over the rhythm to this. Do-do-do. I make a 3-finger D chord with my ring finger starting on the 7th fret of the Gauss string, then index finger 4th fret of the delta string, and then another D note here, 5th fret of the alpha string. Do-do-do, 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 do, G chord. Do-do-do, do-do-do, back to D. Do-do-do, do-do-do, D, G, A, D, again. Do-do-do, D, G, G, back to D, 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 G, A, D. And that's the rhythm to the A part. And that is almost 13 minutes, so I'm going to stop there. We'll do a second, I'll do a second video going through the B part to St. Anne's Reel.